Appreciate you all coming to this session, and we have a great Toastmaster for today. She is from Edmonton, or was born in Edmonton, and she was the only female child in the household. And she has grown up in both BC, oh God.
I've got a props. Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. That says 9 o'clock. It's supposed to start. And she's grown up in both BC and Alberta. Her hobby and passion is educating others and also giving back through assisting nonprofits, as taught to me in an early age by her maternal grandmother, whose dream was to see no poverty in the world. Her employment experience is in the customer service industry, including call centers and market research. Her nickname is Firecracker, and that's what you'll see on her email. Was officially given to her by someone in 2014. She had said hello to when they met at a conference, and that person called her a firecracker. She is a big believer in building skills for herself and others, and wants to use public speaking as a way of showing other women to have their own financial independence regardless of marital status. She is a member of the Peter Costco Communicators, and she wants to go by the first name. Please welcome our Toastmaster for today, Fahana.
Welcome to the conference. Nice to meet and see everyone. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing our esteemed speaker. So ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct honor to introduce our esteemed speaker for today's Toastmasters conference, Mr. Dinesh Ramasamy. Dinesh is the owner of Ram Smart Tech Inc. and has over 15 years experience in IT project management. He was the president of Project Management Institute Northern Alberta chapter, PMI NAC, a member of WEBA Toastmasters. He has his MBA from the University of Alberta and is an active volunteer for local organizations such as ERIEC. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dinesh Ramasamy as he shares his insight and experience today. Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you, Rona. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm standing in front of you today, delivering this speech as daunting as creating a minefield in our faces. So I'm here today. You know what? I started a topic called strategic leadership, practicing techniques from the military. Initially, when I was about to give a speech, I picked a topic. It is sir as sir. So I sent the topic to the organizing committee, and they said, "This looks like a different topic. What are you going to talk about?" So I said, "This one." He said, "Our name says sir as sir." He said, "Yes." So just add a title behind sir as sir, battlefield to boardroom. They said, no, it looks like a gaming product. So people think, hey, you are doing a game, something in a PS4 or something. I said, no, this is all totally different. So we finally arrived in this topic. So, you know, I'm the first time presenter in a Toastmaster conference like this today, and I'm not a DTM even. So my presentation is not going to be boring. It's going to be alive and keep you all alive. This presentation is going to be my life. So I'm going to talk about stories and then talk about me, some bragging involved. So don't get pissed off. Raise your hand saying, hey, it's too much, Dinesh, stop. We want to get back to the topic. So there is no Q&A session in the end. So if you have any queries, any questions, or you want to stop, or you want to slap me, stop me there. I'm there. But what I'm going to do is cover in 3 parts. First, I'm going to talk about myself and my journey into the armed forces. Second, what are the qualities and skills the armed forces officers have or they get trained into. And the third part is going to be how we can include or involve those skills in the corporate environment. That's what we are in, right? So moving on. That's me. I said as a bragging session, right? So let's start with some introduction. So my name is Major Dinesh. So I was in armed forces 20 years ago as a commissioned officer. And I did my engineering outside, so I went as an engineering graduate or a technical arm into Army. That's called EME, Electrical and Mechanical Engineers. So I want to stop. Is there anybody related or anybody from armed forces here? I don't. Oh, okay. That's good. I know I met another one.
No, not me, but I'd like you to speak up a little bit louder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Please.
So,
Thank you.
thanks for that. As a major, okay, so I thought it should be as a mic in the room, but it didn't. But okay, I'll walk around and talk louder. But how will I get the notes I written? Oh. Okay, anyway, forget about the notes. So I joined electrical and mechanical engineers as a commissioned officer, second lieutenant, and then step up and go up to major for 7 years. And then after that, I saw my course mates who did engineering with me are doing better than I do in armed forces. I said, what? How can they earn 100,000 where I'm just sitting at 60? So I said, okay, let me check out of Army, come out and see how the corporate world is. That's all. So some of these photos, it's I was commissioned in the Indian Army, so not Canadian. So just want to clarify people. So
Okay.
as the photo shows. This is me with my some hair also at that time. See, I am not. So, but anyway, that's an armed personnel carrier. This is an MPV. They call mine protector vehicle. This is one of the long range patrol we do with them. So we are out there, and some of my course mates are still in the forces, so I just laughed out them. They don't want to be fired. Other than that, yeah, this is the one I was. So I was 2 years. After you get commissioned in India, the tradition is to send whatever commission you are in, you have to go and serve in the infantry battalion. So I served 2 years in an infantry battalion in the border. So it's an Indo-Pak. It's always tense. So these are some of those areas where we are working on. So it's all you are in camouflage dress, not on a regular these type of dresses in the field. So once I did that 2 years, then I moved into my core arm, that is electrical and mechanical engineers. The main purpose of that arm is to keep the equipment fit for war. So it is from.
Can I close that door? We're having a karate.
We should be excited. Why people are excited outside? Are they doing push-ups like now? Exactly.
Commanding the stage.
It's hard to hear at the back here.
Pardon me?
I think we all should just move forward with the chairs.
Okay.
We can move forward because bring your chair.
Anyway, I'll be there. Thanks for be there. Okay, it should be edible now. Are you? Okay. There? Yeah. So this EME, that is mainly considered as a core arm, technical arm, which gets the equipment fitness checked and then do all the repairs and recovery and everything. So these are some of them from shotguns to military helicopters to tanks and everything. That's fine. These are with some of the course mates. That's you see is a medium machine gun. That in the north greater Himalayas area where I'm standing. Still with some hair in there, right? I lost it, but anyway. Okay. Moving on to some data and analytics. So according to, this is taken from Harvard Business Review 2010 November edition. According to that, in a study, they say former officers, that is armed forces, make up just 3% of US male population. But they are 10%, they are 3 times, so they're 9 to 10% of that are CEOs of S&P 500 firms. So what that talks about is armed forces officer, after coming out, they are still showing that skill to grow the company, to grow the corporate to a level of excellence. So the last slide talk about men. So I thought, why we are not researching about women in that? So I did a slide research and went to Statistics Canada site and then picked up this data. It shows like how much or how many percentage of women are in armed forces or come out of armed forces. So it says about 16.2% women are out in now, and 1 in 6 veterans are women. So that's a great job, and I think when I speak about armed force officers, sometimes I always talk about men because that's traditionally it came like that, but now this is changing, and women are in great part in guarding our country and coming out and showing their skills in the corporate world. So now let's go back in history sometime. So we need no introduction for some of the great leaders, military leaders who ruled and then led men into battle success and all. So I just picked up some figures from AI and then just put it there. But almost all leaders were good rulers. Do we agree in that? Almost. I said almost. There is somewhat so that's why I put a word almost there. I'm not saying all of them. There are some dictators who came into ruling and then perished in somewhere in the land, but almost all of them have a background of military background. There are some philosophers, poets, priests, and also some great thinkers or inventors. But we don't call them as a leader because they invent themselves and then give it to the public. Yes, that is good, but they don't lead a mass of people. I'm talking about people like the generals and the kings who led men. They're supposed to lead them into the battle where everybody knows you will die. So out of 100 men, if you are leading, all 100 think we are going to die in the battle today, or some of them will die. That will be me too, right? So you have to lead the men, motivate them to fight. Second, the logistics and everything they arrange. It's a big thing. Military walks on the stomach, they call sometimes, right? So you have to have the logistics to walk and do the war. And then after success, how you are going to manage the success. Some people take the success to the head and then perish later on. Or are you going to be modest and then digest the success with all the men you are with? So that's I want to take that as a background history so that to show that the leaders came from basically from the military. So now I spoke about a lot, but what are the characters they have? Why the people or the normal person outside, they also have all the characters. We are all made by God with the same characters in all. But who brings it out is the one become a leader later on, right? How they bring it out? Like, is that the training they do? Is that the training they do in the institutes that makes them a better? Or their decision making that is connected to a training, but how they bring out the decision making is that the way they get better? Or their leadership, they can lead men into war. They can motivate them to walk into the valley of bullets or the artillery shells. Or the determination, or you want to do something, are you determined to do that, focused in that, and then achieve the target? Or the organizational skills, like how, where you will go, who is going to provide support to us, who is in the left flank, who is in the right, and who is behind, who is the plan B people. So those are the skills. Or the discipline, so to keep everybody in discipline and himself or herself being disciplined in waking up at 4 a.m. or whatever you do, that the discipline one. Are these the characters they make them better? Yeah, I'll touch upon the training. So that's what I was talking about. So it says 5 a.m. to 5 a.m. because I'll just go back in my training days. You're supposed to report for the training on a weekend. So the training starts on Monday. Your report on Friday evening till Sunday evening. I reported on a Saturday. Checked in. They gave us the barracks. Your roommate is known. They gave us the dresses, the boots, equipment, everything on your own, and then settled you in. And they gave the schedule of what's going to happen for this 6 months. So in India, the training for officers is 8 months. I think here in Canada it's a 3 months of BMQ and then another 4 months of officer training. Correct me if I'm wrong.
BMQ is 8 weeks.
8
and,
weeks, yeah.
BMOQ for officers is 12 weeks.
12 weeks, okay,
And
yeah.
then, trade
So
weeks.
yeah, all right. So we went and got into practice, but we don't have a BMQ, and then separately we have one single training for the whole 8 months for an officer. So this training was supposed to, yes,
Quick question, what's BMQ?
a basic military qualification. Okay, yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yes.
And BMOQ officers.
Officer, yes. Where was I? Yeah. So the 6 o'clock is supposed to start. So we all went to bed in the night after food and all, and then 4 o'clock we heard a whistle to say that, okay, officers, get in, fall in. From that day till the 8 months, I didn't know what the time is, what day is. It was a roller stroller time. So I thought I'll just give a short. Sorry, I had a small video about BMQ to show how it looks and feel, but it's not saying it's no internet here. So sorry for that. But I'll just talk about how the training is about. So we get up at 4. We had 2-3 classes in the morning. So one is for the drill practice where you go and do the drill to passing out parade. Then you have a weapons training. So you pick up your weapon, go there and do the weapons training. Then the classes start. So classes about tactics, what you do, what you're supposed to do, and then how the attack takes place, how this flanks and open flanks, and weapon classes teach us about how the weapon is, what you're doing, and what type of weapons are used, how you will use a weapon. So for example, if I say, if you are using a machine gun, and the enemy, that visible there? So enemy is numbered here. So there is one machine gun here. The lessons are like this. If you shoot a bullet like this, it's going to 100% miss all of them. So if the unit is about 20% approaching and you fire a machine gun straight, it's going to miss almost everyone. You are not going to get a hit at all. So in the classes, what we learn is we are going to keep the machine gun this way, both sides, and you hit this way. So the machine gun is firing like this. In this way, as the soldier approaches, everyone will hit the machine gun's bullet one time, anytime. This is the type of tactics or the lessons which teach about how you have to place the guns, where you are placing, and then how you are firing. And also when you are firing a machine gun in the dark, so you don't know where it is going. And the bullets are like, 300 meters per second, and you cannot even judge where the bullets are going. So what we do is, every 5 bullets have a tracer. So the tracer is the light when you see in the TV and all, when they say, okay, there was some bombardment, and you see that light going on, like the red ones go in between. That is in between the bullets, not the bullet itself. So if you are firing a 12 mm on an aircraft for an anti-aircraft gun, every 10 or 20 will have a tracer, which will trace that path you are firing. So you know you are firing your aircraft is here, so you have to move as per the tracer. This is the type of training which you get. But the most important part is your comradeship. So how you are getting along with your teammates and the group. So once in the training, there are 30 of it each platoon, and then you are unknown, like we are all here, right? We are not known to each other. From the day you start, you know the names, you slowly get to know them. One important thing is the discipline I was talking about. Anyone does any mistake in the whole 30 group, the whole group is punished. Punishment means it's like 200 push-ups. or you go for a 20-kilometer cross-country run, or you take your backpack and walk 45 kilometers race back. So these are the punishment. So every day I come here, I get a punishment. Next day a punishment. So, but I am not doing anything wrong. Why am I being punished for her or him doing anything wrong? That initially in a forming stage, you are very angry against each other. No, I'm not getting punished for you. Why should I? That happens for about a month or so. But slowly you get into the flow of everybody does mistakes. So we get punished, and we started having fun. At the end of the training, the closeness of the team is so close that we can die for each other, right? The start, and after 8 months, you make them as a team where you can die for each other. That is the training I want, or I thought corporate should include it. But corporate doesn't have that much of closeness. Bring people together for 8 months, put in one place and train them. If a corporate does it, that corporate is going to lead the whole world. So now I'm just going to think of what is those qualities and how these qualities come out, and what all things can be taken into the corporate world. So this one is first is the decision making. Why? Because army officers are always in a stress to take a decision. So you go into a battlefield changes, or you go into even a rescue operation, the situation changes. But it's not you are sitting in a boardroom to take a decision like the leaders do. We are in the field, so you have to take a sudden decision. That means a quick decision to save the person or to achieve your focus. So if you are there to rescue someone and the situation changes, you expected or calculated 10 people holding that person, and you are entering, and then once you enter, you see 20 people sitting there. Now, quickly you have to decide what to do. So you have to make your men understand first, hey, it's 20 people, so the strategy changed now. You are going to attack on this side, or some 2 people go this side, 2 in a backup, and instead of using a normal handgun, just use a machine gun or a rocket launcher or something. So immediately you have to change as per the situation. That's one thing you get to learn in the training and being in armed forces. Second is leadership. As I said, you are leading men into a war or a situation where they may lose their life. How will you motivate? In the corporate side, you are leading men just for something. You're producing a product. I'm in IT side, so maybe I'll talk about IT. So you are delivering a product to a client. That doesn't affect anything. Like if you are delayed 2 days, what will happen? They are going to penalize you for something which is a monetary loss, not a life loss. Life loss is the greatest in the world, right? You cannot lose a life. So if you are leading men into a place or a war or a battlefield or anything in a situation, you have to motivate them to follow you. How you will do that? And a determination to get the thing which you want. So there is no option if you are in a hostage rescue. There is no option of leaving the target behind and coming back, right? The option is to get that. You have to be determined to get the target as we have decided to get her or him back, we have to get it. So the determination to get that. In corporate, well, if we compare, there is a determination, yes, to launch the product. Some of them are very good. So we are launching a Diet Coke on May 2nd. The CEO down below has to be determined to launch that product. So they have to work backward to get the logistics done, the advertisements done, marketing done, and then only they can receive or they can reach that goal of May 2nd Diet Coke release. Organization, this is what I was talking about, organization, how you are going to organize the things, like when you are going, which vehicles you are going to take, how many vehicles, who will be in the first, who will be in the last, who is going to be the guard, which vehicle will have who. Because you see in movies, people just put a cap and then join the firefighter team, and then they escape out of this big building type of an sneaking out. Doesn't happen. We know each other in the team. Even if you're dressed with a mask and all, you know them. You know their smell. You can know who your partner is, who your teammate is. So it's when I see movies showing something like that, we laugh, right? It's a movie anyway. But sneaking out of the group, you cannot join an army group just like that. Just put their dresses on and then just go join, because they know each and every of you, even your weight, your height, how you walk, everything we know about each other. So as a team, if you are going, you cannot hit it off. So organization skill means how which team is going to do. You as a leader is going to say, hey, this guy is good in tactics. This guy is good in speaking, organization. So you are going to organize him for negotiation. Whereas this guy good in tactics, you are going to organize, you have to put him in a place where he can strategically work. What is the plan A? If this fails, what is going to happen next? If this fails, what is going to happen? It's a big flow chart of thing. Yes, no. This succeeds, we move to this, the next step. This fails, we move to this step. So this type of an organization is focus and discipline. That's important. Without focus, we cannot reach the goal we need, and disciplined in that. So if you want, I just read just somewhere, if you want to have a new hobby, you should be disciplined to do it 28 days. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you do it continuously for 28 days, it becomes a habit for you. So you have to be focused and disciplined to follow that. Strategic thinking, I spoke about that. Teamwork and collaboration, very important. So you cannot be stand alone and achieve anything you need. You have to be with the team, you know each other's strength, and then reap the benefit of team and collaboration. Communication skill, very important, like precise and concise and clear communication is the one which gives you the result. Without that, you cannot. So as an officer, you stand in front of them and give them a clear target of what we are going to do and who is going to do what and what is the result. So to tell a story, there was a sculptor who was doing a sculpture in everything, and somebody came and asked, what are you doing? He said, no, I'm doing a statue. That's one type of communication where he was being given a task to do a statue of it. The other sculptor who was sitting, the same person went to the other sculptor and asked, what are you doing? He said, I am building Taj Mahal. Because the task given to him is saying, hey, you are building a statue for this Taj Mahal, which is going to be the world's greatest monument. So when he has a thinking or he has his mind that he's building Taj Mahal, he's going to do a better job than a person who thinks he's just doing a statue, right? So you have to communicate clearly what the ultimate target is, so that the person assigned the task is saying, I am part of this big target which I'm doing. So I'm building Taj Mahal, not just doing a sculpture in it. Adaptability and resilience is very important for being in person, even if you are an army officer or not or whatever. The adaptability to a situation is very, very important. As you adapt to the situation, as you change, like we were not used to, like I was watching a video where a person, a young teenager was asked to dial a phone with that old school phone, with that. She doesn't even know what to do. She was just pressing like this and then, how do we call? So we all laughed at it, but thing is really teenagers have moved out of that industrialization phase, right? We are the one who are adapted to the situation from industrial phase to an IT phase now. So we use iPhones, we use laptops, and we didn't have anything. I still see people take notes, right? Whereas I tell my wife, hey, she said, I want to write something, I know what to write, but I say, okay, talk to it. Just take a phone, use the notes, press it and then say, hey, I don't want to come to work tomorrow, I have some issues, and it writes everything on the phone. So just copy it in Gmail, just edit it and send it. Because as you think, nowadays the adaptability is more important. As you think, the old school we have, but the same thing works now, but AI and all has improved a lot. I have all these pictures are taken from AI. Because of the issues of stock pictures and payment and all, I just thought, okay, I'll do. For example, Meta.ai, you'll see the courtesy for that. Meta.ai is one which creates all image as you talk. So you talk it, make an image with an astronaut flying, you keep writing, it will keep changing. In the air, saying bye with a hockey stick. It will make that image. And it's so crystal clear. So you have to adapt to the situation. That's what I'm talking about. Problem solving, yes, as and when it comes, you need to be so thorough in problem solving. You need to assess the situation. I have a slide of that, so I will talk about that. Integrity and accountability is nowadays very less. People are not so loyal. They just want to jump here and there and there. But mostly the armed forces officers, they have a good loyalty and they take accountability of what the even if you do a mistake, they are going to say, yes, I did the wrong thing, and then just own it up. Okay, I'll pause it here before anybody any questions. I spoke a lot and I'm tired. Yes, sir.
I think that's very interesting, but I just think my experience, where I come from, Tanzania, over there, they go to national service, which was compulsory for every student before they go to university.
Uh-huh.
So it was military for 4 months and farming for 2 months.
Okay.
But that's where the discipline comes in. But what I learned over the years was that it really depends on the leader. The tone he sets for the group, the commitment he has, right? And so it's up to the individual now, but it also depends on the organization and the culture of the organization, right? So many men, which has over the years changed, modified. It's more working in a group, consultative. So the new workforce going in, they're more trained in university to work as a group.
That's right.
Right? They work as a group. They come make a decision as a group kind of thing. So that's different dynamics, I think.
Yes. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Yes. So these all were in the military, hidden somewhere long time. But yes, sir.
Just a quick question. Do you think the standards for the military have dropped a little bit because it's a little tougher to get people, or I don't know.
That's a good question. Yes and no, but I won't say standard is lower. People have changed. People earlier days were ready to follow and ready to take the risk and do it. Now, I won't say there is no Gen X or Gen Z here, but now what they think is they think twice before acting on. So even if you say, okay, tomorrow we're going to do this operation, they will start asking questions because they learned, they saw the movies. So now the exposure for the information is a lot. So they started asking questions about why we are doing it. What is the purpose? Earlier time, you order, nobody speaks back. So that's why I put a yes sir is the one. So you cannot even talk back. Only answer is sir. There is no other answer. So now, but because of the information load, they go home, they watch movies, they see, they read. Information is easy accessible. So they learn about why we are doing this. Oh, yes, sir.
People have changed beyond that. I think now, if there's a team, they're not necessarily agreeing on the same, the same purpose. Or they may have their own purposes for what they're doing. And then they may want to go and consult with other people. So, it's I appreciate the military. If you're the leader, it's pretty easy. If you define the mission, And you just have to explain to people why we're doing this, whether they agree with your reasoning or not. But that's not like what it is well, it's not like what it is in Toastmasters, maybe in a lot of organizations. And I know that the provincial government hired a bunch of the military generals that were people that had come out of the Canadian Armed Forces, and they became deputy ministers. And that's a bit different because you're dealing with the politicians, but you're pretty much directing people down below. Right?
Yeah. So,
I'd like to know if you're gonna focus, you have strategic leadership tactics and techniques, and I think of this top-down leadership. In terms of our Toastmasters environment, if you can transfer that to the Toastmaster environment, where we have the reverse pyramid, which means that the member is the most important, and the leader is the president of the organization is at the bottom of the pyramid, the reverse pyramid. So does your tactics and whatnot lead into our organization?
there is one good question actually. Thank you very much. I forgot to put one slide into that. That's called Chetwood Credo. If you know about General Chetwood, it's a UK based general who used to be. He put up the motto for an armed forces. How is like your country and the safe of the country comes in the top. Second is your men and your related to the men comes as the second property, the second priority. The last priority is you. That's what he put it as a credo, and it is in the academy walls. It's written. So army officers, even though they are directional, they are the leader. They go by this motto of first the country and the safeguarding country is the top priority. Second, your men. So if I go into Werfel, instead of somebody comes hitting you, instead of my men going and falling in front, I will go first because that's my life is the last priority compared to the country and then my men next. So I will save my men then me. So that's I think it will sync up, but I didn't put that slide here. That's a Chetwood Credo. You can go and Google it and see what the Chetwood Credo said and how that being used in the army institutions as of now. That's a question. Sorry, you had a question?
I just had a question on, how you said about, do people write? And have you ever done any, maybe it's not to do with strategic leadership, but have you done any kind of research where it actually, the brain connects differently when you actually write versus you're speaking or whatever? So as humanity, are we losing all control of everything and giving everything to TI and intelligence because of what we're feeding into the machines? And the machine learning is, of course, going to be more intelligent than human intelligent. So we're moving into that phase where it's a very, very difficult thing for even leaders to think about it, because as you are writing a test or an exam for even new recruits or assignments or whatever it is, and you know that there's going to be artificial intelligence used and they are going to overpower and come in and possibly not be the best fit or whatever it is. So it's just like mind-boggling. I don't know. I write because I need to focus and I need to retain. This book I may never refer to. I will throw it out in the garbage after, but it's just my way of not daydreaming.
That's right. Yeah. Human has the most powerful brain, not AI. AI is created by human, right? How AI does this, because as a single person we think, but AI connects to the multiple brains. So it takes inputs from different. The concept of AI is feeding in the more data, the more result comes out, right? So if you want the machine learning in AI, so if you want to say self-driven car, you're driving a car, the input fed into the car is any person coming in front, you will stop. So now the more images of person fed into the car will stop. But what happens if a man walk with the dog? Now the figure of a man is put into the car. The car sees a man and a dog. It says, no, this is not a man. It will go and hit, right? The same thing, if 3 person are holding hands and walk, now that image is fed in, but if he's having a hat, or if he's having like a feather on top, it's going to recognize it as a no, and it's going to hit. So the more information you fed into this car, saying that everything you see, walking, moving, fat, thin, tall, short, with the dog, with the cat, with the human, with the kids, all these figures are fed into the car to see as that is a human. So stop. That's how the self-driven car, the machine learning, everything works. But everything is created by a human. So I know people and movies and all, they become the AI machines revolt and then fight against humans. It doesn't happen mostly. We don't think it's going to happen anyway, but it may happen. Why is because I think I fed my brain into the AI and you give your brain, so it's going to be a multiple brains into that machine. So I may think good, somebody may think bad, somebody think evil. Everything is fed in the machine, so it may malfunction sometime, but I don't think that we will be alive to see that type of machine war happening. We will not be. I hope so. But yes, that's a question. But as a mindset, humans are still humane. We have a feeling to others. We are judgmental. We see people. We do favors and all. Machine does none of that. That's one advantage. That's why when you are in the manufacturing and all, machine is good. Our hands shake when you do something, art something. Machine doesn't shake. If we put a photo and say create this image, it's going to create exactly the same because it doesn't have a feeling, it doesn't have anything else. Like a doctor operating his own daughter or a son will have a feeling when he's operating and he may shake his hand. But a machine don't know it's a daughter or a son of anybody, right? It will clear, the laser surgery will do it as exact as we feed it. So that we still have an advantage over AIs, but I don't know what's going to happen. I cannot speak a lot into that. Some of this key military leadership, I'm not sure about the time. Okay. Anyway, so these are going to be the simple. You all know this lead by example. So you are going to do what you are going to do.
Excuse me, before you change.
Yes, sir.
I noticed number 4, it's a great one, ethical leadership. But what I find or see, of course, on TV and that kind of thing, is that the people that are getting into the politics in the States from the Army are more or less in the autocratic thinking mode, and it's not an ethical mode. So you're saying that that's a principle, but how, I'm not sure if it's being done in the military. It doesn't seem like it's a thing that they can do because of the way they have to lead.
That was the earlier ones. So that's what I was saying. Sir is the only word. So authoritarian leadership is like, I say we are going to do this, we do it. But it's slightly changing now because people are trying to think and then act on what the leader is saying. That's why nowadays we accept the mistakes out. So if you go, sir, we are going to attack this way, this is the way, somebody may come and say, no, that's not a good way. We have to do a left flank instead of right flank. The leaders are now trained to accept that. That's why I put a slide of adaptability and flexibility. Now, the leaders are listening from the men because some of them are learned very nice and they just failed the officer's course. Doesn't mean they are not qualified for being an officer or advise the officer. So now the most important thing now the officers training teach about is flexibility and also respect the men's feeling and their feedback is one. Earlier days, yes, you're right. Just say, hey, listen to me, just do it. That's the word, and there's no word, okay. But now it's slightly changed, and then people listen and then change accordingly. If the plan, yes ma'am.
I just wanted to let you know from the perspective of the officer from the Canadian Armed Forces. I think we need to differentiate between strategic leadership and transformative leadership. And the transformative leadership is exactly directed at understanding what's the purpose, what's the motivational part behind you joining the military. Because strategically speaking, we have the mission, the purpose of the mission, and so we have to abide by the rules, but then we cannot mix all kinds of purposes of a given task. Like if my point is to build rapport and to understand the motivation, as the leader, we have to motivate the troops to get the task done, because this is a very much hierarchical system. But also from the ethical perspective, we have very clear distinctions as to what our ethics are. Number one, serve the country and its people. Number one, this is our ethical principle. Number two, it's about respect the dignity of all people in the military and the civilian world. And number three, that would be abide to the authorities. Because without the authority, without abiding by the rules, and former major did emphasize that sometimes we have to make very difficult decisions to send the troops to the missions where life and death is considered. And this is where hierarchical, the strategic leadership is important. But what's the purpose? What's the motivation behind this task? So I think we deal with a very complex issue here, and different types of leadership depending on the task and the mission.
Yep, thank you, thanks for that. The transformative leadership is the one which we need for the corporate, but I was emphasizing on the skills the forces leader have, and when they come out, how they transform themselves into the corporate world. Okay, and then these are some of this saying that you have to be the guiding light for the troops. You have to show your morality, and you are the moral compass for them. You are the beacon of hope. So in a situation where there is all down and people are down, you are losing, you have to give the hope for them so that they can. So that's the determination, and that's the beacon of hope. I thought of covering this, how you can build the high-performing teams in corporate. So that's what this is all talking about. So we build, in armed forces, you get the team to you, and you are building the team. In corporate, you have to build. You have to pick and choose from how many people you need, for what purpose you are, which project you are doing in. So you are building high-performing team. So for example, you are fostering the team dynamics stronger. You are setting a clear expectations from the team, and then trust and leadership by trust and risk accountability by each one of them. Sometimes you can do a cross training between the team so that they know each other very well and then perform. Session begins over. I'm running out of time, so I'm just going to go the key takeaways. What the Army officers possess and what they can bring out into the corporate world. But I want to end the session with like 2 quotes, which I keep it till date, and then I read it every day. So we used to call this, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. It's a Sun Tzu from the Art of War. So this one talks mainly, this image was created from AI. So you can see just as a warrior standing. The second phrase I normally get, it's like, when the going gets tough, tough gets going. These are the 2 in my office wall, so I keep it always to just say, even the things are going tough, the tough will get going. So I want to leave you with these 2 quotes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. We're not planning any mission for the lunch today, so that's it.
When is the meeting this morning?
10:30, business meeting, best part of the conference.